What happens if you give a traveler a year? If you give a traveler a year, they'll first make a plan, but they won't stick to that plan. They'll start the year by writing down all of the things they want to do for the year. Then, they'll want a buddy to go with them. Next, they'll head off on their first adventure. And after seeing NASA rockets, finding out what happens to lost luggage, and touring a battleship in Alabama, they'll want to go on another adventure. So, they'll tour some battlefields in Mississippi after going to see the place that Coca-Cola was first bottled. This will give them the desire to go somewhere really epic and adventurous. So naturally, they'll want to head out west. If you send a traveler out west, the next part of their journey will take them through White Sands National Park in New Mexico while they're on their way to the Grand Canyon. And if you give a traveler the Grand Canyon, you might as well throw some snow in there to make the experience even more unforgettable.
We're like the only people here.
And don't forget to give the traveler a drive through the Petrified Forest National Park while you're in Arizona too. But if you give a traveler a trip through 3 national parks in 1 week, they'll start thinking about how much they want to live out of a camper van instead of a house. So, they'll start shopping for their van. Once the traveler has purchased the van, they'll take it to the shop to be converted, and along the way, they'll want to camp in Missouri. But if you give a traveler a van to convert, they'll be so excited that they decide to go on more camping trips before the van is even done. So they'll try out a few Kentucky state parks while they get to know Louisville on the 4th of July. But once you've given the traveler a camping trip in the summer heat,
My shirt is a shade darker because of the sweat.
they'll want to escape to somewhere a little nicer. So you have to let them go to Alaska. If you give the traveler a trip to Alaska, you have to let them ride with sled dogs, see the Alaskan wilderness by jet boat, and let them go hiking in Denali National Park.
Denali National Park is my favorite national park.
Yeah.
And if you let them camp in Alaska, they'll be dying for more cold weather camping and beautiful scenic hikes. So they'll need a camping trip to South Carolina for Thanksgiving.
Because it is freaking cold out here.
And once you've let them experience the mountains and the beach in a short amount of time, they'll be itching to travel to another beautiful location again. And it has to be sooner rather than later. So they'll pick up their newly renovated camper van and head up the East Coast. And when you let a traveler head up the East Coast, you have to let them camp in as many states as possible in 1 week. You have to let them see Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, and take in the beauty of the historic town in the mountains. But this will make them want to visit more historic places. So you'll have to take them to Arlington National Cemetery and let them camp in Virginia too. Then all this time in the city will make them want to get out of town again. So you take them to the coast to camp with the wild horses in Maryland. And now that they're hooked on new experiences, and the next state is so close, they'll need to go to Delaware and ride their first ferry to New Jersey. But if you give a traveler a trip through New Jersey, they're going to have to experience authentic Jersey food while they're there. So you'll let them go on a food tour. But when you tell them it's time to head back home for a while, they'll ask to stop in one more place before the year is over. So you let them spend the last day of the year in your nation's capital. And if you give a traveler this entire year of adventures, feeling their joy as they experience new things in the world around them, you'll say yes when they ask for another year just like it in 2022.